Hello to my podcast listeners. Welcome back to another electrifying episode of the Kapeel Gupta Career Pod Show. And today we've got a guest who is nothing short of a dynamo. And you can feel my energy is already up. The one and only Mr. Uday Iyer, or as many of you may know him as UD. Yes, UD is a man of many talents. He's the former vocalist of the legendary band Agni, the electrifying voice behind the iconic song Tandav. But that's not all. Yuri is also a voiceover wizard, a theater virtuoso, and a communication skills maestro. After 22 years in the corporate rat race, UD decided to do something completely insane. He dropped the 9 to 5 grind and followed his heart full time. Now he's living his dream, like teaching, singing, motorcycling, and even exploring the wild side of life. Oh, and did I remember or did I mention he's the go to guru for communication skills? UD has trained over 5,000 students in hardcore communication skills, covering everything from verbal to non verbal communication. He's also been the verbal reasoning Jedi for GMAT, GRE, and SAT aspirants for a solid 5 years. But wait, there's more. Yuri didn't just talk the talk, he walked the walk. He's the title holder of Super Speaker Season 2, a prestigious reality show that shifted through a jaw dropping 215,000 entries to find the best speaker in the entire country. Yep, you heard that right. The whole country. And now, UD is on a mission to supercharge the communication skills of those who need it most, offering invaluable courses online. So, buckle up because today's episode is going to be an electrifying ride with Mr. Uday Iyer, the man of music, motorbikes, and monumental communication skills. So, let me welcome UD. Welcome to the show.
Yeah! Oh my God! Holy Mother of God! Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Kapil ji. You, the entire world, whoever's watching and whoever is listening to us, a huge salute to all of you. A huge best wishes and blessings to all of you. And thank you very much. I am and Kapil sir, both of us are immensely grateful for all of you, for all the continuous blessings and best wishes to both of us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here, Kapil ji. I am so excited. I am as excited as you are. Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah, same. Yeah, the same excitement is, I'm already having goosebumps.
I do have
I,
that effect on people.
I was waiting to invite you and to see you in my show. And I'm feeling
Ah,
so honored today.
thank you so
And
much,
I
Kapil
want,
ji.
the whole value to be passed on to my listeners and they can
Excuse me.
really get a whole electrifying experience today.
Yes, that is a promise. That is a promise. And to add on to what you just said, Kapilji, yes, even I was very eager to come to your podcast and listen to your voice. I'm such a huge fan of your
Thank you.
baritone, sir. Aap jaisi baritone hamay bhi hoti. Beautiful, amazing, amazing, man, amazing. Your voice is meant for a podcast. Thank you very much for
Thank
having
you.
me here, sir. Thank you. So nice to see you.
Chaliye, sir, then let's get started because our
Absolutely.
listeners will be waiting. And
Absolutely.
see, today's podcast is all about giving value, knowing you, and knowing what you do.
Okay.
So let's begin first knowing about you a little bit, right? Those unforeseen or the hidden corners of your life. So I want you that if you can share a bit about your journey and how you became a communications coach, considering your diverse talents in singing, long distance biking, and public speaking.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Kapil, to begin with. All right, let's start. Let's get, if you're ready for a story time, let's begin. Yeah, Kapil ji, I was born and raised in a Tam family, the Tamil Brahmin family from a very orthodox family. And I was born in deep Tamil Nadu. However, I was raised in MP and Maharashtra. So my first language is Tamil. My second language is Hindi. My third language is Marathi. And my fourth language is English. To
Wow.
begin with, though I am a communication coach, मैं इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज को ऐसे माई बाप की तरह बिल्कुल देखता नहीं हूं और मैं वो सिखाता भी नहीं हूं बिकॉज द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट लुकिंग अप टू दैट लैंग्वेज उसको जरूरत से ज्यादा भाव दोगे इट बिकम्स मोर फिर वो पहाड़ लगने लगता है we
Right,
have to
right.
consider English language as a tool and equal respect with all our languages. I think our
Definitely.
Indian languages are much more beautiful and refined and sound musical to the ears compared to English language. We know that, you know that, yeah.
Yeah, fully
So
agree with you.
so it all started that way. Now I happen to be one of those few lucky people in life who realized at a very young age that when I grow up I would want to make a living out of doing something I am good at. Maybe, just maybe, it's got nothing to do with my qualifications. Though, because I was from an orthodox, old fashioned family, the importance to education has always been immense throughout my childhood. So I knew, it was inbuilt in me that getting till, finish your masters at least because all my cousins and everybody they were doing ICWAs and company secretary and chartered accountants. All my cousins like that. I was the only black sheep in the family. Actually, not the black sheep. I was the black dinosaur of the family. पढ़ाई में बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं था सर मुझे 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक. I was a very bad student, average student. However, I used to grab every opportunity of facing people right from my 5th or 6th standard. I used to grab any opportunity. I used to conduct the morning assemblies when I was a student, right from 5th standard. I used to sing national anthem. I used to sing my school songs. I used to participate in breakdancing competition. I used to participate in mono acting. Then I used to participate in sports day, march past. बहुत मजा आता था मुझे करने because march past and all taught you a certain way to communicate and look here and there, follow a command, and they follow the rhythm and get the sense of a beat. So all that, I took a lot of interest in that compared to books. And when it came to studies, my favorite subjects, there were just two subjects, English and Hindi, believe it or not. I've never been a great are you still there, sir? Kapilji, are you still there?
Yeah,
There.
I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. So yeah. So exactly. So I've been always a student. I used to always grab all public speaking of competitions like elocution, drama, debate, you name it, and I used to grab them. So, and the advantage of my school was all these events. Two languages I had the liberty to use, which were English and Hindi. Later on, I got into rock singing when I from my first year of graduation, BCom. I'm a ex symbiosis student from Pune University. So
Okay.
yes, I did my MBA from Pune University. So I finished that till 10th standard. Kapilji, I was a bad student. I scored, let me just tell it to the world. I scored a 42%, 42% in my 10th standard. And ladies and gentlemen, and my interviewer is a study abroad expert. however, however,
That's life.
that is life. That is life. However, sir, my life changed. First time I went with my dear father to Wardia College in Pune, and in front of the dean, I saw my father's nonverbals, facial expression, and the tone of his voice. I had never seen my darling late father as if he sounded as if he was begging in front of someone for me. And that is something, it blew my mind. I had never seen my father in, I'd, as जैसे भीख मांग रहे, सर मेरे बेटे को 40% ही मिले हैं, प्लीज उसको एडमिशन दिला दो. That kind of an intonation. And something happened, something broke. From that day onwards, Kapil ji, I took studies as a challenge. I'm an MBA gold medalist, by the way. After that, it was an incline.
What a transformation! What a transformation!
I'm an MBA gold medalist, specialized in advertising, focus in marketing, and focus on advertising. So from there, after I finished my MBA, I shifted to Mumbai. In Mumbai, I was there in the advertising industry for almost 11 years as a copywriter, as a visualizer, right from a classified ad, an obituary ad, till a television commercial. I've done them all. And if in Pune, Kirloskar's Pune, the very famous company,
Right, right.
their baseline tagline, which says, the Kirloskar tagline and even the Kirloskar Mirchi logo, all of them. I used to be part of the entire promotion campaign.
Okay.
Enriching lives. That's the baseline of Kirloskar. And the person who gave that baseline, you are speaking to him right now, sir.
Wow,
Thank
wow,
you very much.
wow.
Thank you very much. So, I have, after 11 years of advertising, I lost my dear father. I had to shift back to Pune. My mom was all alone and a chronic asthma patient, so I had to shift back because she's an asthma patient. I couldn't take her back to, I mean, shift her from here to Mumbai because the weather wouldn't suit. And I always prioritize everything in my life around my mother, because after I lost my dad, so I shifted back to Pune. I continued in the field of advertising for around 4 years. However, I was so used to the high standards of advertising which I've encountered in Mumbai for 9, almost 10 years, 11 years, taking it more in Pune, taking the pressure, taking the, at least those days I'm talking about, early to 2000. uh,
Mhm.
I'm sorry to use the word, but the mediocrity which prevailed in the advertising creative market in a city like Pune, I couldn't take it more than 4 years. Then I decided I'm going to quit advertising. And
Okay.
and another reason I quit advertising, sir, was I realized that for 11 years, majority of the time, I was making people buy things they didn't need.
The
So
crust over
that
the
also
time.
hit me. So that also hit me. I made a lot of money, no doubt about it. I'm not trying to discourage advertising. It's a amazing, if you're a creative person, whoever's listening to me, you must try out the advertising industry. It is fantastic. It's very challenging, and there's a lot of work satisfaction. It's immensely hard work, but there's a lot of work satisfaction if you're a creative person, if you like visuals, if you're into designing, those kind of things come
Mm.
easily to you, interest you. So whoever listening, then sir, then I didn't know what to do, Kapilji. Then I remember, I'm one of those few lucky ones who always wanted to exploit and make a living out of what I'm good at. So I sat and with a paper and pencil, what else am I good at? Yes, my voice. Someone told me, "Arey, Yuri, have you heard of call centers?" I said, "ये क्या होता है?" Then मैंने पानी में छलांग लगाई to learn to swim. I joined Emphasis call center. I used to take calls for 10 months, but my English language and my 11 years of rock singing and my years of doing voiceovers for animation, cartoon films, industrial narrations and documentaries, docudramas, my knowledge of using my voice effectively, and I'm very good with microphone techniques. I know all the microphone techniques. When it's indoors, different kind of microphones, I know how to use them. So with all that knowledge, taking calls in a call center was chutki ka kaam. And I used to take calls like a radio jockey, sir, because I had a lot of immense knowledge of America. I had a lot of knowledge about rock music, American culture. So all the American customers used to get very impressed. 10 months. So my operations manager comes to me. This was 2004. He came to me, Yuri, place the customer on hold. I placed the customer on hold. And then he said, all right, remove your headphone. Yuri, today is the last day of IJP. IJP stands for internal job posting, and it's for process trainer. I'm very thankful to that operations manager. I'll never forget that gentleman in my life, because that's how I got to know there was a trainer in me, that I could be a good trainer, not just a trainer, I could be a good trainer. Until today, I'm trying to become a better trainer every day. So I got into process training. Kapilji, I used to teach, for banking industry, I used to teach the process of the product. I used to teach for 1.5 years. I didn't. I'm not a very good product person. I'm a creative person, and I wanted to get into voice and accent training, where I got my first experience. I did that for 14 years before I took a voluntary retirement from Wipro IT. I did that for good 14, 15 years, voice and accent and communication training, customer service, and the works. And that's how my knowledge about the different kind of English accents, why, if I'm an Indian, if I'm an Indian manager, if why there could be any barriers of communication, and so on and so forth. So from there, sir, after 22 years, I realized that, oh man, I had creative admuna, sir. I had enough of the rat race. I said, even if I win it, I'm going to remain a rat. So I took a voluntary retirement at 42. Now I'm continuing doing what I'm good at. I can coach well, I can motivate well. I can do fairly well with my communication skills. I love motorcycling because that's my form of meditation. And rock singing is part of performance. Of rock singing is also nothing but verbal and non-verbal communication.
Right.
So I continue with that. So
Wow.
wow,
Wow.
so
Wow.
an
What a
entire
journey. Yeah.
an entire book shortened into a couple of
Yes.
minutes.
Yes. Yes. I'm beginning to think, yes, this is actually going to, a milestone podcast. Wow. 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 What a journey.
Thank you
And
so much.
many people would, I would say, because the young listeners, a lot to learn from this. Follow your heart. Right. Hmm.
Follow your heart, in the sense, follow it intelligently.
Yes. Yes.
Follow
Definitely.
it intelligently. Do
Yes.
your research. Just don't be, for example, don't try to become a musician just because your friend is also a musician.
Right. Right.
Find out whether you have it in you, how good you are. Find out whether there's a market for it, and keep doing.
Yes.
My point, Kapilji, is education is very, very important.
Very important.
It's
Yes.
very important. During the phase of being a student, एजुकेशन लाइफ में आप एजुकेशन को बैक सीट नहीं दे सकते सर. वो
Right.
लॉन्ग रन में बहुत तकलीफ देता है if you don't have education in your hand. That goes without saying. Yes, sir.
And see, and as now you are a communications coach.
Mhm.
So, and what we can see, visualize, we can listen to you, how effective you are. So, why is effective communication so crucial in both personal and professional aspects of life? Because communication not only helps in your profession, but also in our relationships, in our day to day life. So, why do you think it's so crucial?
What a question. What a question, Kapilji. Kapilji, now, are you ready to get your mind blown? Are you ready to get your mind
All
blown?
ears, all ears, Uday.
I'm going to share a nugget which very few people are aware of. Though we are going to have maybe a 40 or a 50 or a 60-minute conversation, you and I, right now, through the podcast, believe it or not, only 7% of the entire communication of 1 hour is verbal, would be the words we use. 93% of the communication would be the non-verbals. The way we make eye contact with each other, the way my voice, my intonation of my voice, intonation of your voice, the way we are using our hand gestures to express a thought, the way we talk, and all these things. This is the majority of it. So a lot of people think that communication skills equals words only.
Hmm.
That mindset has to change.
Changed. Yes.
And that mindset shift takes a little time, but it's possible. It can be done. It can be done. However, to a trained eye, imagine, sir, if you are able to, for example, if you are sitting, making a sales negotiation, if what if you had the superpowers of observing that person during that 30 minutes of sales negotiation meeting, and whatever that person speaks to you, that you do understand, but if you have the ability to also make observations of his body language, micro expressions of his facial expression, his hands, his, the way he's talking, his shoulders, whether if he's coming in front and talking, if he's going back at certain points and talking, everything communicates. So the rule number one would be to consider communication as a vast subject like any other subject. It's a universe, or it's like a huge country, and spoken English or written English is just one aspect of it. Simply, that means, Kapilji, it's not just my spoken ability or my language ability, my grammar ability, my pronunciation or enunciation ability needs to be good. That needs to be good. That parallelly, it would be better if all of us also are aware and practice non-verbal communication in our lives. Very important, small things. For example, for example, sir, I'll tell you a short story. One of my ex students, I'm a visiting faculty in Symbiosis College of Liberal Arts in Pune. So one of my MA students, recently it happened, Kapilji, just a couple of weeks ago, she called me and she told me, Uday sir, I need your help. I said, what happened, beta? She said, Uday sir, are you aware of any time management courses? I said, what do you mean time management? Why do you need time management? Then I gave her a link and I spoke to her for good 45 minutes. I probed her because I know my students. I probed her, and she's from an environment where I taught in live sessions. So I know the student much better than just an online session. Classroom mein padhata tha main wahan. So then I found out what the problem was. It wasn't, she didn't need to learn time management, sir. Her problem was handling rejection.
Okay.
That, and when the word rejection comes in our mind, Kapilji, it's we always think someone else rejecting me. We are bad at handling that. No, it's also the other way around. I also have a problem rejecting. I don't know how to reject. Meaning, this young lady had taken, for example, from manager A, she's taken a task. Manager B also came, gave her another task, but she started struggling with two deadlines to be met the same way. Then the manager told her, well, you need to manage your time. This kid is now. So if the person knows effective communication, I even gave her the sentences to talk to her. The way to handle it, when Mr. B gives you the task, rule number one, usually हमारा क्या होगा when बहुत सारा काम मिल रहा तो these are the non-verbals, Kapil ji, हम usually देंगे. Okay sir. We might even take a deep breath. अरे पहले काम का लोड और आ गया. फिर मजबूरी से एक artificial smile दो. We can avoid all that. Then, if you say yes to that, that will continue. Then manager C will come and, oh, this child keeps on getting the job done. Manager A ka bhi kaam karti hai, B ka, then manager C will also come and give the. So she will burn out. So you need to have that confidence and use the correct words which ooze politeness and professionalism. Mr. Manager B, I would be very happy to assist you with that, sir. I love doing these tasks and I'm very fortunate to get that opportunity from you. However, I'm already handling Manager A's task right now and the deadline is 4 p.m. Would you be kind enough to talk to him first? If he says, okay, then I'll take your task. See the difference? Now she just pinged me. She said, Uday sir, it's working. It's working. So if you know effective communication skills, you can use a lot of empathy, You can use lot of act. You can use empathy. You can use active listening, rapport building without offending other person. You can draw a boundary
Right. Right.
without offending people.
Yes.
Why
Perfect.
young people don't get to are incapable of doing that? Because they are not trained to do that. Training mil jaye. And that's exactly what I cover in my coaches, sir. All my coaching courses. I cover verbal and non-verbal communication. I am the complete communicator at your service, Kapilji.
Yes. Yes. That's definitely on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank
Uh,
you very much.
Okay, now moving forward,
Hmm.
you in fact already shared an example with us.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but so, what are some like common communication challenges
Hmm.
that individuals face, and how can we actually overcome them?
Okay. So the majority of now, there are two kinds of communication challenges which the world, at least, or let allow me to use the word, the job market,
Right. Yeah.
job aspirants, that market or that target audience looks at barriers of communication in two forms. One of them they are aware of. The other one they aren't aware of. First, the one which they're aware of is spoken English skills.
Yeah.
How to confidently speak in English language in order to crack an interview, in order to crack a GD or a group discussion, in order to get the job and clear all the levels of interview. All the because majority of time, how to make an impressive presentation using the English language. These are the usual challenges. That is one segment, which and that's what the market is usually aware of.
Hmm.
The other part is the non-verbal aspect, which they aren't aware of. I'll tell you an example. There are so many cases, I'm sure even you might have come across so many cases, that a youngster comes back. Sir, my interview went phenomenal. It went off phenomenal, sir. But I don't know why I didn't get the job.
Yeah. True.
आपने सुना है ये? आपने
Bilkul.
सुना है?
Bilkul. Bilkul.
I'll tell
Many
you what.
students.
I'll tell you. There could be hundreds of reasons. Out of those 100 reasons, Kapilji, 90 of them would be non-verbal communication mistakes. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एक यंगस्टर, एक 19-year-old 22-year-old यंगस्टर, आप भी उस एज से गुजर चुके, मैं भी गुजर चुका हूं, एंड वी नो इट्स अ वेरी इम्पेशेंट एज.
Right.
It's a very impatient age. Now, imagine, Kapilji, my interview timing given to me is 10 a.m. and I need to go to this corporate setup and wearing my proper clothes, carrying my folder, my resume, and everything. I reach the reception. However, there are other candidates also waiting. So when the waiting game begins, sitting in the corporate sector lobby, 20 minutes maximum, Kapilji. These youngsters will sit trim and proper. 20 minutes maximum, 25 minutes ke baad na, that waiting game puts in lazy lethargy. Suddenly their body language will become lazy. They'll start scrolling the phone. They will start behaving as if they are not waiting for an interview. They are waiting on a platform for a train.
The energy levels begin to dip.
Absolutely. And these youngsters don't understand that your interview begins the moment you enter the
Into the
gate of that company. Not when you enter the panel, the office, जहां पर चार लोग इंटरव्यू बोर्ड बैठा होता है, आपका इंटरव्यू नहीं, मेरा वहां इंटरव्यू शुरू होता है. नहीं, इंटरव्यू आपका जब गेट से अंदर से घुसते हो, कोई ना कोई ऑब्जर्व करता है, कपिल जी. आप मैं ऐसे लेजीली बैठा हूं, ऐसे बैठा हूं. इमेजिन उसी वक्त अगर इंटरव्यू पैनल में चार लोग हैं, उसी वक्त एक बंदे ने लेट्स से बायो ब्रेक लिया एंड ही केम आउट एंड ही जस्ट ऑब्जर्व्ड, और कितने लोग वेट कर रहे हैं, जस्ट ऑब्जर्व, और मुझे देखा मैं ऐसे बैठा हूं, लेजी हो गया हूं, अरे कितनी देर से वेट करा रहे हैं, बॉडी लैंग्वेज सब दिख रहा है ऐसे. That person has already made a preconceived notion about this character who's come for an interview और ऐसा बैठा है. इसको नौकरी चाहिए कि नहीं? यू अंडरस्टैंड सर. एंड ये एक बार प्री कंसीव नोशन आ गया, जब मेरा टर्न आएगा तो पहले एक स्माइल देगा, अच्छा ये है. देखिए मेरी तो दाढ़ी है, शायद
True.
दिखेगी नहीं, मेरा ये है. मन में he might even use words like अच्छा ये तो लौंडा है, लौंडों को हम नहीं लेंगे, हमें तो we need executives, ये
Yes.
लौंडे टाइप नहीं चाहिए. You know exactly what I mean. And
Right,
all this
right.
happened. The same guy, लेकिन बंदा अच्छा होगा, he must have answered all questions, blah blah blah, अच्छे से prepare कर गया, लेकिन नौकरी उसको मिलेगी नहीं. Why? He failed in his non-verbal, sir.
Right.
So that is the power. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And all these
Yes.
things I've observed during my 11 years of stint with as a communication skills manager with Wipro IT. I used to be a part of the interview panel during recruitment. So I used to observe. I used to observe. I made a lot of notes, and that's how on the job training हुई है sir मेरी भी. Isn't it? I
Yes,
hope
yes.
this anecdote really helps. Really
No,
helps
definitely.
everyone.
And by now, we have actually begun to understand how important each and every aspect of communication is. And I believe many of our listeners would be introspecting that कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी उन्होंने क्या गलतियां की. But now, you being the communications coach, if I ask you, how do you help people become more confident and articulate speakers? And like the dynamo you are yourself.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Um, Kapil ji, I have my methodologies of teaching people how to become confident speakers or orators. My techniques are very old school. I don't believe in modern techniques. Why? Because you would be using very primitive things, very old things. You're not using technology. To become
Okay.
a good speaker, you cannot put yourself in a pen drive and enter a computer hard drive and become a software and become use AI and present. You can't do that. A human body, a human voice, a person's personality is primitive. The
Okay.
only, isn't it? It's primitive, sir. It's as old as the dinosaur.
Right.
डार्विन, एज पर डार्विन्स थियरी, हम कैसे बंदर से मानव बने, लेकिन वही मानव हैं हम. वी हैवंट बिकम कंप्यूटराइज्ड एंड्रॉइड्स नहीं बन गए हम कि आधा
No.
मशीन है और आधा मांस हड्डियां हैं, आधा दिमाग है और आधा एआई है. ऐसा नहीं है, इंसानी है ना.
Insani.
So
Bilkul.
जब and the point which I see, Kapilji, is I see a lot of these youngsters and even people at senior levels. इतना knowledge होता है sir इनमें. They are so brilliant. Now, this I love this generation, this digital era generation. They are so brilliant, Kapilji. The youth of today, especially, I'm very impressed with them, and so much immense knowledge. Okay, but when I see them struggling to make eye contact and open their mouth and confidently their incapability to share that knowledge they have, it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. इतना सारा नॉलेज, इतना इमेंस. आजकल के बच्चे आर 100 times more intelligent than I am or I was, and I'm so impressed by them. They are the torch bearers. You youngsters listening, you're the torch bearers. I'm not going to be there forever. However, you guys are the torch bearers. You guys have to carry the torch of enthusiasm, of confidence, of charisma, everything. So use the technology and learn from people who have the experience, of looking into someone's eyes confidently and sharing knowledge. Of course. Isn't it, sir? These
Definitely.
these youngsters need to learn that individually they are a brand, sir. Kapeel Gupta is a brand. Uday Iyer is a brand.
Right.
So how I teach them, what I teach them is to develop a switch. I don't teach them to speak English. I teach them to create a character of themselves who speaks English. So whenever
Yeah.
they need to speak English, they need to get into the skin of that character.
Hmm.
Another thing is because there are a lot of introvert people. Everybody, I do not expect them to be shamelessly extrovert like I am. No, I don't. It's not even advisable. However, even if you're a shy person and introvert, listeners, please listen to this very carefully. You can develop a switch in your mind when you need to get the job done. Switch on the extrovert. Bring out that confident talk, interact, make deals, close deals. Once the job is done, come switch off that extrovert, come back to being the introvert. Kaun mana kar raha hai? Nobody's asking you to change yourself. Isn't it, Kapilji?
Yeah, but then there's no denying the fact that this is a world of digital communication, right?
Absolutely.
So, how can individuals maintain that authentic and meaningful connections?
Ah, that's very true. That's very true. In the digital era, Kapilji, what I love, I'm a huge fan of the digital era. First of all, it saves a lot of time, though, because even if digital era, the only drawback which was looked upon as a drawback is actual human in-person interactions reduced drastically once the internet boomed, and you can see, you can have a Skype call, you can make a WhatsApp video call and things like that. So interaction reduced, live interaction. So usse kya hota hai, sir? We do not, in a video screen, when we communicate, what happens is it becomes more important to take care of the way we speak. It's not what you say, it's always how you say it. How you say it. Are you using the right body language? If Kapilji is my manager, he's talking to me, while he's talking to me, I should not be fidgeting here and there. I should be
Hmm.
wearing I should be presentable.
Right.
Small things are important. And please, I think the world, there's no sir, Kapilji, when you and I were students, that time, I'm sure even you might have heard of this dialogue. Son, there is no escape from computers. Computer courses karna shuru karo. I remember when I was in
Yeah.
12th standard. But aaj ke zamane mein, what I say is, there is no escape from audio visual medium to communicate.
Right. Right. Fully agree. Yes.
So you need to learn the right etiquette to follow when you use video calls, audio video communication, ways. You need to follow an etiquette there too, just like how you would do when you come for a job interview, and you'll wear formals, and you'll make sure your shoes are polished and you've shaved and blah 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 blah, you'll be trim and proper. So that goes for a digital essence as well.
But then I fully agree. See, verbal communication is one aspect. Then, as you rightly said, when we are observing things,
Mhm.
actually, we are listening. I would say that we are listening to the other person, the way he's managing or conducting himself. But apart from that, we cannot discount the fact that written communication is equally important. And
Oh,
what you can throw light on some strategies for effectively conveying emotions and intent in written communication, especially like in text messages and emails, because they are doing the rounds all the time.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking a question on. Let's get into written communication. Fantastic question. I love this question. Now, just like verbal and non-verbal communication, written communication also comes under the verbal communication umbrella. Now, when it comes to when we speak, how pronunciation and pausing in sentences, intonation, and pace of your speech is important. Similarly, when you in your written communication, and in English happens to be the global language of written communication, especially in a formal or a corporate scenario. So it's imperative to follow certain rules. So rules, just like something called email etiquette,
Right.
chat etiquette. Now, what I mean is, for example, happy birthday, HBD, short forms which we use. An example,
Right.
using emojis. Ah, birthday, ah, yeah, all those emojis and all we use, that can be used in written communication, however only in informal scenarios. मैं थोड़ी कह रहा हूँ use मत करो,
Hmm.
करो, definitely करो. However, no emojis, nothing should be entertained in formal emails, in chats, formal chats. You know why, sir? And the choice of words you need to be very careful in corporate and official emails. Do you know? Ask me, Kapilji, why? Ask me,
Wha-
Kapilji,
uh,
why? Why?
Please go ahead.
Because an official email can be used as evidence in the court of law.
Oh, that I never thought of it in that way.
Exactly, sir. Bulb on movement hai. Any
Yes.
email or a chat, official chat message, if something goes wrong in the near future, it can be used as evidence in court of law. And imagine, khuda na khasta, suppose one of my emails goes there and I've used frivolous language. The chances of me losing the case would be higher
Right. Right.
if I've
Very
used
true.
the, because lawyers know the art of twisting words based on one single wrong word. He will case palat dega. You know that all these things happen. So that's why business writing skills is another thing which I separately is which is included in my course, in my level 2 course, where I cover English grammar. And believe me, Kapilji, when I say, when people think of grammar, अरे people imagine it like a huge पहाड़ यार, इतने सारे tenses है, बाप रे 12 tenses है, present tense, past tense, hey राम राम राम. That's exactly, that is the kind of mentality I help people to break away from.
So I've met students. इंग्लिश पढ़नी किसी को नहीं है, आती किसी को नहीं है. बट एक है, एक परसेप्शन है, हमें आती है.
No, sir, I'll tell you
Hmm.
this trick. This is another tip. Understood that most of the students get scared of tenses in English
Yeah.
language,
Right.
tenses. There
Hmm.
are 12 tenses in English language, but believe it or not, in everyday conversation, formal and informal conversation, you'll be surprised. We hardly use 6 tenses, not 12.
हाँ,
So the point is, वो 12 का knowledge चाहिए क्या आपको? क्यों 6 से भी काम चल जाता है ना?
चल जाता
सो
है.
एग्जैक्टली ये सारी यहां पर मैं छोटी छोटी बल्ब ऑन मूवमेंट्स करता हूं एंड लोगों को खुद पे भरोसा दिलाता हूं कि इंग्लिश इज नो बिग डील. सो देर आर ट्रिक्स टू
Hmm.
लुक एट अ पहाड़. तुम डोंट मेक अ माउंटेन
Turn off.
फालतू में. इट्स जस्ट अ मोल. And
Hmm.
there are techniques, there are ways to go around it and learn. And believe me, Kapilji, I'm not a grammarian, and I don't claim to be one, and I don't train people to become grammarians. I teach something called functional English.
English. Right. Got it.
Functional English, which does not get me into trouble. It gets my job done, and I'm so good at it, I also get accolades for it.
I'm sure even the people have, the listeners begin to feel the same. And no wonder that you are a super speaker 2 winner.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
you know, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And
Very kind
but
of you.
now coming to that, if I
Uh-huh.
ask you what's the key to delivering a powerful and memorable speech, because nowadays public speaking in corporate, everything has become very very common, and it's like the much needed capability, quality of a person. So how do we deal with that?
You mean how to become a better presenter or a better
Yeah,
public
yeah,
speaker?
yes, yes.
Okay. Now, ये क्या है सर? मेरा अंगूठा है. Every thumb has a print on it.
Right.
And it is a well-known fact that none of our prints can be the same.
Yes.
Uday Iyer's thumbprint only Uday Iyer can have. Kapil Gupta's thumbprint only Kapil Gupta can have. Another
Yes.
example from the wildlife is tigers. Every tiger has different stripes. One tigers and the other tigers, it's impossible. They cannot have same stripes. Similarly, Kapilji, in order to become a confident speaker, it depends what are the strengths and the areas of improvement. I hate the word weakness, sir. मैं कभी use नहीं करता हूँ. Because that's a trigger word. Is if my student is already demotivated and low in confidence, then if I use negative words, वो subconscious में बस जाते हैं उनके. So I never use the word. I always say strengths and room for improvement.
Improvement.
I never say weakness. So when I say I make an analysis with every person. So every speaker or an aspiring speaker will have different kinds of strengths and different kinds of rooms for improvement. Some could be good articulators, but very bad with body language. Some might have the confidence in the body language, however, the verbal communication would need work, will be a room of improvement. So it depends. Somebody is spoken English, or some people have never had an exposure. Some people are stage fright. A lot of people's main issue is stage fright, butterfly, shivering, how to control that. These are all chemical reactions happening in
Yeah.
the body. So how to? So a lot of people. So in my training sessions, I individually get into the psyche of that person. I probe so well, and I make them share with me even instances from their childhood which could be related to confidence issues while talking to people or while facing.
Yeah. Very true.
My, you know, when I start my courses, my first question वही होता है. When I do my public speaking courses, my first question to the student is, your education, did it happen in co-ed or boys and girls school? First question होता है मेरा sir.
Okay.
You understand where I'm coming from and where
Right.
I'm going, where I'm going.
Right.
The banda जो सिर्फ boy school में ही पढ़ा हो, that banda will have more stage fright, more public facing anxiousness compared to someone who studied in a co-ed. Because the subconscious is used to seeing different genders around them, different. But boys are bande, 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 bande,
Bande,
bande,
bande, bande.
bande, bande, Allah ke bande has de, bande, 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 bande. बंदे 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 वाली बात है, बंदे वाली बात है, बंदे बंदे बंदे. सो 8 साल अगर बच्चा बॉय स्कूल में ही पढ़ा होगा, सो इट्स एक्सपेक्टेड वो फॉर एग्जाम्पल 4 लेडीज के सामने आंख उठा के आंख में आंख डाल के कतराएगा बहुत. उसको कॉलेज पहुंचने तक वो ये नहीं कर पाएगा. 3rd ईयर बीकॉम या 1st ईयर मास्टर्स तक नहीं कर पाएगा वो. सम पीपल कैरी टिल देयर लाइव्स.
Right.
फिर शादी.com में 9 साल तक अभी तक नहीं हो रहा है, अभी तक नहीं हो रहा है, एंड द स्टोरी कैन गो ऑन. वो तो एक ही एग्जाम्पल था. सो अदर एग्जाम्पल्स आर यू मे बी. सो आई गो टू द क्रक्स ऑफ अ स्टूडेंट्स इशू. Then I decide a plan of action for that particular student, which will suit, for his particular room for improvement.
So customized solution. Huh?
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
sir. End-to-end solution, customized solution. Because it's a spoken language, sir. It's communication. It's not like playing the guitar or a keyboard. You're using a piece of muscle which is in this form, your vocal cords. People with thick voices like Kapeel Gupta and another Balbon movement have very thin vocal cords. People with very thin voices have very thick vocal cords. Bhagwan ne aise banaya. So you need to. So it's a piece of muscle. You need to take care of it. Similarly, you need to be fit. You need to take care of your health. Very important. Some basic 15-20 minutes of some kind of a body exercise a speaker must do. You have to follow rules. कल आपका प्रेजेंटेशन है, एक रात पहले आप 4 बियर ठूस के 2 मुर्गे खा रहे हो और अगले दिन प्रेजेंटेशन है. ऐसे नहीं चलता. All that because while presenting you get a burp. It happens. So discipline होना पड़ता है. to be a good speaker, to bring out that confidence. You do that presentation, win that presentation, win everybody's heart, celebrate after that. No, a
Right.
well-deserved celebration.
Well
Have a
deserved.
drink after that. Why not? But not before, when you're preparing for a presentation. वो सब नहीं होना चाहिए, isn't it? And so little discipline होना चाहिए, sir. And so that's how I customize and tailor need accordingly for most of my public speaking students. So that's how. So mindset shifts and some unique exercises which I help them to get,
Okay.
yeah, articulation exercises. Because, for example, people from North make consonant sound errors. It's called sh and s swap errors. For example, they would say Asok. They might
Hmm.
not be Ashok नहीं बोलेंगे, और
Hmm.
school,
Hmm.
school हो जाता है,
Right.
school. Then pleasure नहीं बोलेंगे, pleasure.
Hmm.
Pleasure, measure और major सब एक ही जैसा लगेगा.
सब एक जैसा लगेगा.
हाँ, pleasure, measure. अरे
Hmm.
मेजर साहब, मेजर,
Hmm.
मेजर साहब.
Hmm.
So, however, if you're talking in English, how to correct these sounds?
Right.
Certain sounds are fatal. Some people have a lisp. मतलब s sound slip होता है.
हाँ. Right.
My success story. So these kind of small things also hinder a person's confidence immensely.
Amen.
So how to overcome that? I know techniques, and I help people with those techniques and make them practice and get out of and surprise themselves. My God, I never knew that इतना confidence मुझ में छुपा हुआ है. मैं इतने सालों से फालतू में ये इतनी सी छोटी एरर की चिंता करके इतने सालों से क्यों सड़ रहा था मैं. यूडी सर कहाँ थे सर आप?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. अब इसी बात पे अगर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं तो वी हैव एक्चुअली टॉक्ड अबाउट कॉर्पोरेट कम्युनिकेशन इन प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, बट कम्युनिकेशन तो हर जगह है. कम्युनिकेशन जब हम अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ कर रहे होते हैं, कम्युनिकेशन जब हम अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ कर रहे होते हैं, एंड इफ वी डोंट डू दैट इन द राइट वे, misunderstandings are bound to come, right? And I believe nowadays many times जो problems couples के बीच में होती है, that is also a result of miscommunication. So how can these people improve their communication to actually build stronger relationships?
Very, very well said, sir. Very well said. There is a topic by a very famed psychologist. His name was Eric Berne. And Eric Berne's philosophy of the pack model, there's something called a pack model, which I teach in my non-verbal communication course. So in a gist, I'm not going to get into the concepts, but in a gist, let me tell you, if Kapil ji मेरे भाई है and मेरा उनके साथ बनता ही नहीं है, there will be a time in point आएगा where you have to ask a question to yourself. What is more important? Whether Kapil is right and I'm wrong, whether I'm right and Kapil is wrong, or my relationship is more important. If you like that person, for another example, my mother, sir, my mom is a traditional South Indian, very old-fashioned lady. So in my 20s, I used to antagonize, I used to back answer to my mother. वो सब मैंने किया है जो मुझे बहुत खराब लगता है इस एज में. क्या बेवकूफ था मैं वैसे करने के लिए. When I think of it now. So, and now she's alone and she's with me, and I used to back answer. I used to get a little irritated. However, now since 10, 15 years, my relationship with my mother is beautiful, touch wood, simply because I chose that my relationship with her is more important than whether I'm right and she's wrong, or whether she's right and I'm wrong. In this case, वो generation gap आता था. मम्मी आपको क्या पता है यार, वो आपके जमाने में होता होगा, अब जमाना बदल गया, आपको क्या पता है यार. वो सब करना मैंने बंद कर दिया. So this is one example, my own example, how I improved my relationship with my own mother. And she's like, what? She's 75. She's not going to be there forever. Whatever time she's here, I want to cherish that relationship to the fullest. I don't want to waste my time or खुद का blood pressure सब नहीं बढ़ाना चाहता हूँ. The relationship is more important to me.
Yes, and that's a very,
And
very precious advice, sir.
thank you, sir. इमोशनल हो
Yeah.
गए सर आप. इमोशनल हो गए सर आप.
सर, अगर ईच वन ऑफ अस कैन, ये बड़ा सिंपल सा फैक्ट बोला आपने कहने, बट इतनी सी बात अगर समझ आ जाए तो कोई समस्या ही नहीं है. नो प्रॉब्लम विल एग्जिस्ट इन एनी ऑफ द रिलेशनशिप्स एक्चुअली.
Exactly. Because we become prey to the game of who's right. I'm right, you are wrong. जरूरत ही नहीं है सर. मान लीजिए ठीक है, आई एम राइट, कपिल यू आर रॉन्ग. उससे भी क्या होगा, क्या उसके बाद? व्हाट आफ्टर दैट? ठीक है, यू आर राइट, सो यू प्रूव्ड अ पॉइंट. सो मैंने कपिल को नीचा दिखा दिया, मैं ओके ठीक दिखा दिया. नाउ व्हाट? आगे क्या? Sarji, it is very important to have effective communication skills in our lives. You know why, Kapil ji? I'm 50 years old, Kapil ji. मैंने ठोकरे खा के ये फैक्ट सीखा है लाइफ में. कौन किसके कब काम आ सकता है, यू नेवर नो, कपिल जी. मेरे लाइफ में इतने एग्जाम्पल्स है विच विल ब्लो योर माइंड. ये पॉडकास्ट का टाइम कम पड़ेगा मेरे पास. इतने एग्जाम्पल्स है ऐसे लोगों मेरे काम आए लोग. So that's why I'm always nice and kind with everybody. I never use intonation. तू क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पर? मैं कभी ऐसे जमींदार जैसे, just because मैं पढ़ा लिखा हूँ, कमाता हूँ, एक बंगलो में रहता हूँ, मेरे वॉइस में सब कभी वैसा arrogance टोन वोन आप कभी नहीं सुनोगे मेरी आवाज.
Yeah, right.
I'm always polite with anybody and everybody, right from a blue collar till the shop floor. I'm polite with everybody. मैं अभी भी विप्रो छोड़ के आया हूं सर. My colleagues and the managers might have forgotten me, but every security guard, every janitor, every sweeper in that Wipro campus remembers UD sir. I used to ask, एक स्वीपर से भी मेरी दोस्ती, क्यों कामले बेटी के एग्जाम्स हो गए? बस सिर्फ इतना पूछ के जाता था.
इतने बिल्कुल.
बस छोटे छोटा सा. They remember me more than the managers, I'm sure.
बिल्कुल सर, ये छोटी छोटी बातें दे means a lot.
Oh, sir, these small things these things are happiness, sir. People look at happiness as a destination. No, it's a journey. That's my biggest lesson I learned from motorcycling.
इनफैक्ट अगर आपने मुन्ना भाई एमबीबीएस देखी हो तो उसमें एक
देखिए
सीन
सर.
है भी जिसमें संजय दत्त जो है अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी के पर को गले लगाता है कि यार आप इतना कुछ, दैट्स
Correct.
वो छोटा सा मोमेंट, छोटा सा हालचाल पूछ लेना मीन्स अ लॉट.
Correct. Exactly. Just as मुन्ना भाई में था, it's in हिंदी मूवी तो थोड़ा कमर्शियल एस्पेक्ट होगा. ठीक है, आपको जाके गले मिलने की जरूरत नहीं है.
हाँ
बस एक मुस्कुरा दो यार.
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स.
एक जस्ट एक मुस्कान दे दो. कैसे हो? हेलो. बस छोटा सा हेलो. बस they will remember. And especially when working in a corporate company, you need to be nice with people. My growth, my promotions were very fast when I was in Wipro IT. I became a training manager. I had 29 trainers reporting to me pan Asia. So when I took a voluntary retirement that time, how I grew up the ladder, Kapil ji, was purely on my communication skills. Not on Excel sheets, not meeting numbers regularly. सिर्फ numbers meet करते रहोगे आप. आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा 4.5 मिलेगा आपको अप्रेजल. उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा एक कंपनी में.
आप मानेंगे
Your
whenever
good communication skills is what gets you the promotion. People
Right.
observe, the leadership observes.
Sir,
हाँ, I'm sorry.
I,
Go ahead, sir. हाँ.
I'll say promotion तो बात की बात है, right? I always say to my students कि language is such an important aspect of our lives. Having a degree will only make you eligible to be, eligible for the interview, right?
Correct.
लेकिन मुंह खोलते ही आपकी औकात पता चल जाएगी, मतलब आई एम यूजिंग सच अ वर्ड,
एब्सोल्युटली सर,
ठीक है ना?
एब्सोल्युटली।
तो
हाँ,
वहीं अगर आप कम्युनिकेशन में भी परफेक्ट हैं तो यू हैव द जॉब।
एब्सोल्युटली। कम्युनिकेशन बोथ वर्बल
बोथ
एंड नॉन
एंड
वर्बल,
यस,
बोथ। आपने बहुत अच्छे से जवाब देना आता है आपको, लेकिन आप कल कल जो शर्ट पहना था वही शर्ट पहन के चले गए, वो नहीं चलेगा। Small things. So that's how I prepare my students for interviews, sir, majorly. One small example batata hu. I tell my students, have you got your clothes ready for your interview? Yes, sir. Got a new pair of shoes. Got a new pair of shoes. Got a new pair of trouser and shirt. मैंने बोला trouser shirt से मुझे ज़्यादा interest नहीं है. नए shoes. You will not wear it for the first time on the day of the interview. What if that shoe gives you discomfort? अगर वो जूता काटता है तो your body language तो तकलीफ होती रहेगी, इंटरव्यू में
बिल्कुल,
जाओगे तकलीफ होती रहेगी. That will show in your non-verbals. Non-verbal में वो तकलीफ होगी. While answering a question, subconsciously आपका हाथ जाएगा वहां पर, थोड़ा खुजाएगा and trying to give the
राइट,
comfort. वो सब आपका पूरा body language will get spoiled. Your chances of winning someone's heart or influencing them, everything will go down the drain. Why? Just because of one pair of shoes. इतना important होता है non-verbal communication, sir. इतना important होता है. सो अगर
अगे
न्यू नए जूते हैं, सो इंटरव्यू के 2 दिन पहले एटलीस्ट 4-4 घंटे पहन के घूम के देखो. ब्रेक इनटू दो शूज फर्स्ट.
राइट,
मैं यहां तक ट्रेन करता हूं सर लोगों को.
परफेक्ट सर, परफेक्ट,
क्योंकि वी कैन नॉट लीव एनी स्टोन्स अनटर्न्ड.
राइट,
ऐसे छोटे से स्टूपिड रीजन के लिए जॉब नहीं मिली बहुत होता है सर, मुझे पता है. मैं रिक्रूटमेंट में था, 8 साल था, मुझे पता है.
नाउ कमिंग टू योर
यस सर.
other love, long distance biking, right? And we know that it involves both physical endurance and mental strength also, because you go for like 2000 kilometers, 3000 kilometers, right? Now, how does this experience of yours relate to the importance of perseverance and communication in life?
Ha, very very good question, sir. Now, um sir, it's actually it's become a cliche now. However, it's an evergreen thing for me. What happens is, Kapilji, at least let me talk about myself. At this age, where throughout my journey, my professional journey, I'm sort of I'm not in a condition where I need to make my ends meet. I'm slightly better financially and things like that. Obviously, at this age. So what happens is, a comfortable life soaks you into various kinds of comfort zones, immerses you without you knowing it.
Right.
And anything, for example, the best thing is, if you want to learn something new, anything, you have to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And getting out of comfort zone to achieve small goals, Kapil ji, needs to be a habit. It cannot just happen just because I have a task. It's
Hmm.
like studying. It's like studying for an exam, students. अचानक एग्जाम के 5 दिन पहले आप रोज 10 घंटे बैठ के नहीं पढ़ सकते हो. कॉन्सेंट्रेशन नहीं होता है. ह्यूमन ब्रेन्स आर नॉट मेड लाइक दैट. Concentration has to be a habit. 1 hour of concentrated studies for 30 days, then from the next set of 30 days 1.5 hours of concentration study. आधा आधा घंटा प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ता है इंसान को कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ाने के लिए. ऐसे नहीं हो जाता है. कंसंट्रेशन ऐसे नहीं बढ़ता है सर. Concentration needs to be a habit. It needs to be practiced.
Right.
Similarly, getting out of the comfort zone also needs to be a practice, sir, because we are human beings. Once we become comfortable, हमारे non-verbals में बदतमीजी आ जाती है, sir. Body language
Hmm.
में सब बदतमीजी
Hmm.
आ जाती है और हमें पता नहीं चलता है when we are communicating and
Right.
interacting at professional levels and things like that. जहां बैठे बैठे सब मिल जाता है. घर है,
Hmm.
खाना लग जाता है टेबल में, सब कंफर्ट जोन है. So through motorcycling, number one, I love to ride motorcycles. Number two, it at least once in 3 months, I do a long ride of minimum 3 to 4,000 kilometers both ways, where I get out of my comfort zones. कपिल जी, मैं रात टाइम पे अगर अंधेरा हो गया तो अंधेरे में मैं कभी चलाता नहीं हूँ, बिकॉज इट्स अनसेफ और मुझे डर भी लगता है, और देखने कुछ मिलता नहीं, सिर्फ अंधेरा ही होता है,
हाँ सही
तो
बात.
मजा भी नहीं आता है चलाने का. सो सनसेट हो गया तो मैं रुक जाता हूँ जहां भी होता है. Suppose if I don't reach a decent city or a town where I can book a hotel, मुझे मैं ढाबे पे सोया हूँ, मस्जिद पे सोया हूँ, ये मोनेस्ट्रीज में सोया हूँ, गुरुद्वारे में सोया हूँ, लंगर खा के सो गया हूँ. यहाँ पर सब मेरा सामान आमान सेफ था. आई कैरी अ स्लीपिंग बैग विथ मी. एक छोटा सा स्टोव होता है, मैं कहीं भी रुक के मैंने कैंपिंग की है. आउट ऑफ द कंफर्ट जोन, खुद मैगी बना के खाया है. मैं अकेले राइड करता हूं, एंड आई नो बेसिक्स ऑफ माई मोटरसाइकिल वेरी वेल. एंड वर्किंग ऑन माई मोटर, एक क्लच वायर भी टूट गया तो मुझे फिक्स करना आता है खुद, मैकेनिक को नहीं ढूंढूंगा मैं. उतनी मैकेनिज्म्स भी, मैं उतनी मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग भी सीख ली है मैंने. Why? Because I do it alone.
Right.
Well, I can't afford to get stranded in middle of nowhere, hundreds of kilometers, nothing, hundred of kilometers, nothing. How to cope up? ऐसे situations भी हुए हैं. All those situations have made me a stronger person and given me more confidence, Kapil ji. So every time I get out of that comfort zone, I get recharged. थोड़ा, then third reason, थोड़ा गृहस्थ आश्रम से भी दूर होता हूँ ना, because क्योंकि सर आप इट्स, आई मीन, मैं एक नेगेटिव पॉइंट जैसे नहीं कह रहा हूँ. However, गृहस्थ आश्रम can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. You know
Yes,
it, sir.
yes,
I know it.
yes.
That's why, and it's not only for me. It can be exhausting for my darling wife. Her name is Shweta. Her too. So I take a break. Then I let her. I mean, she decides. She goes out with her friends for 2-3 days. She'll take a break. Effective communication happening between her
हाँ,
husband and
बिल्कुल
wife.
बिल्कुल.
Just because हाँ मैं मर्द हूँ, वो सब nonsense नहीं
हाँ,
चलता है
हाँ,
सर.
हाँ.
You know, I'm the earner. I don't belong to such. So there are a lot of disciplines and principles which my grandfather had taught my father, and which came to me from my father. There are a lot of them which I'm very proud of and I implement. And there are certain old conditionings which I don't follow anymore. Example, being a father, Kapil ji. I have 2 sons. I don't give them advice. आप पूछोगे कि ऐसा कौन सा बाप है यार जो बच्चों को एडवाइस नहीं देता है? मैं नहीं देता हूं सर. आज वो प्रथा मैंने मेरे डैड के बाद बंद कर दी है. उसका बहुत एडवांटेज हुआ है कपिल जी. आई हैव स्टॉप्ड गिविंग एडवाइस. एडवाइस माय वाइफ गिव्स, माय मदर इन लॉ गिव्स, माय दीदी गिव्स, माय मॉम गिव्स. तो बच्चों को देती रहती है. मैं एडवाइस नहीं देता हूं, मैं सुनता हूं सर. आई एम एन एक्टिव लिसनर विद माय किड्स. व्हेन माय किड्स कम टू मी, मेरा छोटा वाला 8 साल का, इफ ही कम्स टू मी एंड टेल्स मी, एंड उतना छोटा बच्चा आपको वही चीजें बताएगा जो आपको ऑलरेडी मालूम होती है.
Right.
सो आप अपने नॉन वर्बल्स ये नहीं दिखा सकते. हाँ बेटा बोलो. हाँ बोल रहे हो आप अपने फोन पे लगे हो. हाँ 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 ठीक है कर देंगे. हाँ हाँ ऐसे सब मैं कभी नहीं करता हूँ. आई कीप माई फोन. आई मेक आई कॉन्टैक्ट विथ माई चिल्ड्रन एंड आई यूज एक्टिव लिसनिंग स्किल्स. And they get so involved. I make good eye contact with them without no distraction, no barriers in communication. I listen to them actively. उसका चमत्कार क्या हुआ कपिल जी पता है? मुझे एडवाइस देने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. जब उनको एडवाइस चाहिए होता है, खुद आके मांग लेते.
खुद आके मांग लेते. Right, right.
So so communication is not just talking, listening skills. आपने जो पहला वाला क्वेश्चन था, पर्सनल लाइफ भी कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं. So listening skills, active listening skills
Right.
can do magic. So motorcycling helps me get out of my comfort zone and get recharged. And though I'm not a very religious person, sir, however, I love the Sanskrit language, and I do perform ceremonies at home, which because my mother loves it. I'll do anything for mother. And advantage क्या होता है sir? Mother nature. I'm a huge nature lover, sir. Just park the motorcycle somewhere at a cliff. बस ऐसी शाम को, just you're all alone. Remove the helmet. You sit there नथिंग. लैपटॉप सब होता है बाइक में, मेरे पास लोडेड
Hmm.
होता है सर, सब कुछ होता है, लैपटॉप सब होता है. वो होटल रूम में पहुंच के खोलूंगा लैपटॉप, वाईफाई ढूंढूंगा, वो सब करूंगा. बट वो माउंटेन पे रुक के, इट हैपेंड टू मी नियर, आई थिंक आई वाज, मैं जोजिला क्रॉस कर चुका था, तो मुझे फोन आया था. वन ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट, दोस डेज आई यूज्ड टू टीच जीमैट, वर्बल रीजनिंग.
Okay.
यूडी सर, आई गॉट थ्रू मैसाचुसेट्स यूनिवर्सिटी, और डैड मॉम को बताने से पहले आपको फोन कर रहा हूँ. सर,
Wow.
उफ, 11,000 फीट पे वो बंदे ने मेरे आंख से आंसू निकलवा दिए, रुला दिया था मुझे उसने. दैट इज अ जॉब सेटिस्फैक्शन. दैट्स व्हाई आई
Yes.
लव माय वर्क,
Right.
कपिल जी, आई लव माय वर्क.
Definitely. वो पता चल रहा है. This podcast was supposed to be like a simple communication podcast, लेकिन यहाँ हमें life skills, communication skills, relationships सब कुछ मिला है listeners. Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू
And
वेरी
in
मच.
the end, if I ask you as a customary कि भाई तीन ऐसी बातें like to how the younger generation should begin or pay attention to improve their communication skills.
Absolutely fantastic. Three, I'll give you three, sir. Rule number one, you have to, everyone, rule number one, the three, say, takeaways from our session you can, or the three, the best tips I can share with anyone to improve their communication skills in order to improve their lives, professional as well as personal lives, are the three are. Rule number one, you have to accept that you are an individual who is unique. There is no one else like you. What you can do, someone else can't. At the same time, what someone else can do, maybe you can't. However, but whatever you can do, you are unique. You have to accept that. Rule number two, do not fall prey to the comparison game. The comparison game, example, oh, someone else is doing this better than me. Array, I wish I had the resources like that person. Only even then, even I can achieve what that person is achieving. No. Accept, be happy with whatever resources you have and work with it. Don't fall for that comparison game. That falling for that comparison game will not only demotivate you, it will get you into the procrastination trap. You'll only think about the dream, you'll never work towards it. क्यों? मेरे पास भी वो resources आएंगे, उसके बाद मैं शुरू करूंगा. नहीं, फिर कभी नहीं शुरू करूंगा. So don't fall into the comparison trap. Yeah. First is you're unique. Don't fall into the comparison trap. Rule number three, big takeaway. Nobody is perfect, Kapil ji. सबके दांत सबके से परफेक्ट नहीं होते. सबके चेहरे ऐसे ऋतिक रोशन जैसा नहीं होता. सब everybody, no. They get paid to look beautiful. ऐसे परफेक्ट दांत सिर्फ क्लोजअप और कोलगेट के एड में आते हैं सर. रियल लाइफ नहीं होता है वो. मैं एडवर्टाइजिंग में 11 साल था, मुझे पता है एडवर्टाइजिंग क्या होता है. वो जो परफेक्शन आपको मीडिया और स्क्रीन पे दिखता है, रियलिटी वो नहीं होती है. रियलिटी में हम आम आदमी हैं. आप शायद ब्रेसेस पहनते होगे, या आपका एक दांत शायद टेढ़ा होगा, उसके कारण यू डोंट स्माइल, यू स्टॉप स्माइलिंग. आपको शर्म आती है, मैं नहीं हंसूंगा यार, मेरा ये दांत दिखता है, हर बार दिखेगा तो मैं हाथ से छुपाऊंगा हंसते हुए. Please accept your imperfections as they are, because that's what makes you what you are. That is you. That's your originality. That's what makes you unique to start with. Accept your imperfections. नहीं मैं बहुत मोटा हूं, नहीं मैं बहुत पतला हूं, अरे नहीं लोग क्या कहेंगे. कम ऑन. लोग क्या कहेंगे? अरे जो लोग कहेंगे उनमें उतनी हिम्मत नहीं है जितनी आप में, तभी आप आए हो पब्लिक स्पीकिंग में. Tabhi, you have the courage to take the decision to become a speaker, face the world. You have more courage. Never forget that. Rule number one, you are unique. Rule number two, don't fall prey to the comparison game. And rule number three, accept your imperfections wholeheartedly because that's what makes you who you truly are.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Yudi, for saying all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. That's a learning even for me. And as you know, uh, whenever I end my podcast,
Yes,
I
sir.
usually say, tell the students to listeners, because I usually assume that the students are listening to me,
Uh huh.
that their dreams are like worth pursuing, right? And of course,
Absolutely.
the future is worth investing in. And today, they'll definitely have got that insight that communication is one skill that can be learned, and UD is the person to whom it should be learned from, right?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
as a gift, I would request you to please share your connection link. I'll share it with my students, with my
Okay.
listeners, so that they can reach out to you and get help and get bigger, better in communication, as in their personal lives as well, right? And as I always say, the Kapil Gupta Career Pod Show is here to light up their path, to empower them, to help them reach new heights, and to inspire them to dream big. So, thank you, Yudi, once again. And we would definitely want to talk more and more. And I would definitely want you to be my guest sometime again, because now we have some time constraints also.
I
So
understand
but then,
completely.
and thank you once again, and
Thank
until
you
our
very
next
much.
episode, for all
Yeah.
listeners, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep empowering your future.
Thank you
Thank
very much,
you.
Kapil Ji. Thank you very much. Everybody, keep going, keep inspiring. Long live rock and roll. And don't do anything that I wouldn't. I love you all.
Uh,
Bye.
ah,